Welcome to part 3 of the video, family. Alice, the Dulles brothers. Okay. Once again, after World War II, the Germans had killed over 50 million people, and the Dulles brothers moved to save the German corporations that had made huge profits from slave labor. They moved to save these corporations that had backed Hitler and to save the SS war criminals. Okay, and to save all of these different fascist death squads, okay, who were involved in genocide, okay, and these SS war criminals always supplied slave labor to the corporations. Okay, 20,000 Ukrainian Nazi collaborators or more were smuggled out of Europe and settled into Canada, United States, Argentina, Australia, places all over the world. It seemed as if the CIA had been created straight out of Sullivan and Cromwell and other Wall Street firms like Carter, Ledyard, and Milburn, which was Frank Wisner's law firm, and Donovan and Leisure, which was OSS founder William Donovan's law firm. Okay. After World War II, Truman disbanded the OSS. Okay. But Allen Dulles was behind the scenes writing the reports that would design the CIA. And then he helped draft the National Security Act, which Congress passed in 1947. Basically created this government of complete secrecy where nobody knows what is actually going on. And ever since then, we've lived in the CIA-controlled America. Especially since after some of these forces killed JFK in 1963, the CIA took over covert ops that Sullivan and Cromwell or the United Fruit Company used to do on their own. Okay, and all of this, the CIA is built right into the U.S. government and paid for with public money through taxes. The CIA gets, in friendly countries, the CIA gets people in foreign countries to be loyal to the CIA, not to their own governments. Enemy countries, CIA tries to cause civil wars and destabilization campaigns, carry on and to carry out false flag terrorist attacks, etc. Truman was somewhat distrustful of Allen Dulles, who had smaller roles until Eisenhower comes to power in 1952. Truman appointed a series of generals to head the CIA. Sidney Severs headed the CIG, and then Walter Bedell Smith as CIA director. Allen Dulles got his dream of becoming DCI, who beat out former OSS officer and Time Life magazine owner Henry Luce. Basically, all the heads of the major media corporations, empires, were all former OSS psychological warfare experts. The media, who the CIA is controlling, is basically waging psychological warfare against the public to get it to support America's foreign policy. They say that the U.S. is just defending itself from terrorists and foreign aggressors. Okay, but in the Cold War, the United States was the aggressor. Under Operation Bloodstone, it was created to bring all of these fascists into the U.S. intelligentsia and set them up in U.S. universities, media, and put them into foreign policy planning. There were only about 200 of these important people with experience in international businesses that worked for the huge multinational corporations so that they formed the American foreign policy elite. It's interesting that it was only 200 because 200 was the number of the fallen angels, the Watcher class angels, okay, that began to cohabitate with human women and to create the Nephilim offspring. So this, I believe this is a direct connection, okay? Okay, Now, out of these 200 people, they all knew each other, and a lot of them, the sons of the rich, generally joined the intelligence community during the war so that they didn't get killed. Okay, so many of them, in order to prevent getting killed, they joined the intelligence organizations to prevent being put in harm's way in the Second World War. Okay. Once Eisenhower came into power in 1952, he appointed John Foster Dulles as the Secretary of State and his brother Allen Dulles as DCI, or Director of Central Intelligence. Okay, and up until today, this is where we get the collusion between the CIA and the State Department. Okay, that collusion, that corruption, okay, started with the two Dulles brothers. Okay. Though not still at Sullivan and Cromwell officially, they were still carrying out the business of Sullivan and Cromwell. These coups in Iran and Guatemala were carried out on the benefit of Sullivan and Cromwell clients like Anglo-American Oil, who signed an agreement with Iran when it was a colony of Britain, and got the Shah to give Britain free access to all of Iran's oil and pay a pittance. Okay. So I won't go into all of the different coups that that the Dulles brothers through the CIA and the State Department carried out. I'm just going to say that this was where all of these things began to happen under the Dulles brothers, the corruption, the foreign policy, and all of that nature. Okay. Now, stay tuned for part 4, where I'm going to be doing an analysis from another paper, very important paper, that's going to really give the spiritual analysis of the Dulles brothers. Okay, the spiritual, showing how the Nephilim bloodlines were actually behind the national security, people behind the national security state and the Dulles brothers. Just like it just said that there were 200 of these important people who formed the American foreign policy elite, 200. Also, this same bloodline is behind the people who formed the national security state in 1947 and who is presently ruling over and oppressing the American people today. So stay tuned for that part 4, and have a good day. Bye.